Luigi's Mansion was one of the release titles of the GameCube in some regions, and has, like a lot of other GameCube games, gone through a lot of testing cycles. The game was one of the first titles being made for the GameCube, and having a look at the files shows that rather clearly, as the developers struggled with some mechanics of the game, or just struggled in general. Debugging a game is a really big mess anyway. Checking the battle with Chauncey, it seems like the team had rendering issues with him upon opening the pause menu as an event entry shows, or collision randomly turning off with the side note, "I don't understand what causes this." But let's get to the actual unused models of the game. Let's start with a door.
This door is for some reason listed under effects, which doesn't really seem to make any sense. Also, it comes in different formats in the game files. There isn't really any documentation to be found on this door, but the texture and the unfitting doorknob give the assumption that this was a door from the early days of the game's development. This could also be an explanation why it isn't found in the objects folder of the game anymore, but in the effects folder. However, we're just making assumptions here. But let's move on to a monster called L, a faceless creature that not too much is known about. It has a few animations, but probably never got any further than that, as it doesn't even have textures. Importing it into the game results in a model without textures and shaders, as it never had any. It is uncertain whether this opponent was ever supposed to have textures, or just work by shaders, as it was scrapped so early again.
This is a Bogmire. Yeah, we know, it's in the game, but look at it a little closer. It's different. Looking at the model's files, it turns out that this is an early version of the Bogmire that was remodeled for some reason. The model has longer teeth, longer wings, has an actual jaw, and the top of the head is lacking a piece. Once again, it's uncertain why Nintendo decided to entirely remodel this enemy. And then there are these little cute fellas here. What do you mean they are in the game? Well, yeah, technically they are. However, this one is animated. Or at least was animated once. The original creatures called Star were just static objects, while these little ghosts actually had animations and were supposed to be actually in the game. Once again, Nintendo decided to leave the scrapped idea in the game and give the new model an entirely new name. And here we have Mario again. There's just two things wrong with Mario in this picture. The first thing is that Mario wears the Poltergeist 3000. Also, his body size is the same as Luigi's body size. The model is also less detailed than the one used in the final game. It's unknown why this model was ever created. But there are theories floating around that the game might have had a multiplayer planned, but that got scrapped. It could also be a possibility that Mario was meant to be the boss at the end of the game. It could have also just been a prototype model though, as another team was working on Super Mario Sunshine at the time, and they were still working on the Luigi model.
Here we have the Poltergeist. An early version of the Poltergeist to be exact. The wheels are way smaller on the early build, and it looks less similar to a vacuum cleaner. Actually, just looking at the model itself without the pipe, one wouldn't really think that this could be a vacuum cleaner at all. The game also has a lot of unused objects that were just there for decoration. A lot of rooms seem to lack furniture, but it looks like that wasn't the case in the beginning. One good example is this table, which was supposed to be in the mirror room of the game, but it was probably removed as it didn't really fit somewhere properly. It could also be that the console had performance issues with more models loaded, but we doubt that. This love seat here would have fit perfectly into the room it was meant to be in, the billiards room. Looking at the files, it seems like there were more pieces supposed to be in the room, but this seems to be the only leftover. Luigi's Mansion is, like a lot of Nintendo games, very music heavy, and the game shows that multiple times. Which is why this phonograph was supposed to make an appearance, probably to make a ghost spawn. But it was only supposed to. A simple ladder, perfect to give the library of the mansion an even older flair. However, it didn't make it for some reason, despite having fit perfectly. It's a shame it went unused.
Apart from the unused models, the game also has a few audio files that went unused. But they are still left in the Japanese version of the game. Some of them could fit perfectly in a regular horror game, which wouldn't really appeal to the target audience. Others were just cut. Let's have a listen.
Hang on to Mario. Ow! Oh, oh, nice doggy, nice doggy. Oh, pet, pet. Whew, mamma mia. Oh.
Well, that was weird. So, this is the end of the video. We don't have anything left. But you could always click the videos on the screen right now or in the upper right corner, and why not subscribe? Then you won't miss a thing!